Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We are streaming out live on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook Live, also BitChute Live, as well as YouTube, and on X, on both of our channels there as well. So thank you for joining us. We have quite an interesting conversation we're going to break open today in the first half regarding Europe and Western civilization just in general. And then in the second part of the program, we will be joined by our teammates during Overdrive as usual. Some of our teammates are going to be able to join us there to talk about this and also other breaking and important stories. So expect a lively debate in the second half of the program. We'll also be bringing in and featuring the comments of our viewers and our listeners as well. We'll be featuring some of the better hot takes there. That should be interesting, colorful. Certainly it was last week. We expect to have a bit more fun as well this week. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year coming up to everybody joining us here, wherever you are in the world. We really appreciate you guys supporting us as well. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the topic at hand. If you're listening or watching on any of the mainstreams, especially on YouTube, we are heavily shadow banned on that platform, have been for over 10 years. So if you can like and subscribe to this video, that will help us to physically overcome some of the algorithmic suppression that this channel unfortunately is placed under for a long time. So really, you can help us there as well as on Rumble. Like and subscribe and follow us on Rumble as well. And so also think about supporting us during our winter fundraising drive. It is that time of year. This is how we fund our operation for the coming year. So we are running a major independent media platform. We produce a number of live shows, video and audio each week. And we also have daily content at 21st Century Wire. So if you can support us either through donation or perhaps subscribing and becoming a member at 21wire.tv. That's one way you can really support us on an ongoing basis. We'll be giving a shout out to some of you who have stepped up. Many have stepped up since we launched our winter fundraising drive a few weeks ago. And you guys, amazing. That's all we can say. We are humbled by your generosity. Many of you have come on board as members, as donors as well. We'll recognize some of those people later on in the program. So again, if you like what we're doing, you want to see us do more of it and not just survive but thrive in 2026, please support us during our winter fundraising drive. Thank you to those who have once again. Now let's talk about the very serious subject at hand. And also before we do that, let me also bring on to the program here, let me just feature our Sunday screening for this week. We'll bring that up on stage right now. This is a documentary film called The Cleaners. Now, this is a mainstream production. Now, apologies if you're in Europe, you might possibly be paywalled, or not paywalled, but regionally blocked on YouTube on this. But it's from PBS, and this is about content moderation with big tech. Now, sometimes some of these, especially on PBS, once in a while you do get lucky. Very well produced documentary film, but it gives you a look behind the scenes on censorship. And also, it's really important, this film, because it will sort of give you a look into the mentality of the type of people that work at these big tech firms. And this is featured up at 21st Century Wire. This is our weekly documentary film curated by our editorial team. So thank you to our editorial team for another great documentary film this week, the Sunday screening. So The Cleaners. Do watch this. This is made in 2018, but still relevant today. Obviously, there's a lot more automation in terms of censorship and algorithmic suppression of speech by these big tech firms. And we'll get into the European Digital Services Act and how the European Union is front-running some of the most authoritarian censorship regimes ever in history. And they've got the tools to do it, and they are really wanting to enact heavy speech controls in Europe. Why? Because the self-appointed rulers, hugely unpopular people in charge in Brussels. Their policies are failing, and they have no choice. They believe that their only chance of survival is to suppress any criticism of their policies. Now, we talked about that last week, and it was very shocking, that whole latest round of sanctions, including people like Jacques Bau and others, and Nathalie Lamb and others, who've been sanctioned by the EU for speaking out against Western or NATO policies, or against colonial exploitation, like what France is doing in Central Africa, or what Brussels is doing in terms of destroying Ukraine through this proxy war, through NATO's proxy war. So anybody that's criticizing the Europeans is potentially marked for sanctions. And so that's the theme of today's show. So it's the decline and fall of Europe. The decline and fall of Europe. So the death of liberal Europe and the rise of fascism in Europe. Now, it's not necessarily fascism from the far right, as they call it, although it could be. What the neoliberal radical centrists, the current authoritarian regimes in Brussels and their proxies in Germany, France, and I'll put the UK in there as well, even though even after Brexit, they're very much in lockstep with the censorship regime, the anti-Russian paranoia, and the drive to build a war economy in Europe because, well, quite frankly, everything else has failed. And so their policy in terms of weakening Russia has failed miserably. So their only option is to build up Europe into a war state, to supposedly confront Russia. We'll get into the big lies, and I'll reveal or unveil what I'm calling the Big 12. These are the big 12 big lies about Russia and Ukraine that's being pushed by Europe and being used to justify all these Orwellian, Kafkaesque policies, authoritarian policies. So that's the theme of today's program. So let's get into the details of this. Now, first and foremost, let's give a shout out here because this is a very important channel here. It's called Neutrality Studies. Pascal Lotaz is the host. He's there on your right-hand side with the bookshelf behind him. That's the host. And his guest this is a very important interview. Everyone needs to watch this. Everyone needs to watch this to really fully understand not just the viciousness of this authoritarian state, but the lengths that the Europeans are willing to go to target individuals. They've fabricated evidence. They've fabricated information about this gentleman here, who's a German citizen, Hussein Dogru, born in Germany and born in Germany. In this particular episode, Pascal has done a series of interviews here in the last week with Jacques Bau, with Hussein Dogru, and a number of other German academics as well. And we're focusing on Germany here because that is the engine of the European Union, effectively. So where Germany goes, the EU goes. It's very clear on that, okay? But this one is particularly important. What they did to this gentleman here, he is of Turkish origin, okay? Born in Germany, German citizen, has gone through the German education system. And when Brussels put him on the sanctions list, they fabricated the claim that he was Turkish, he was a Turkish national living in Germany. It's a total lie. He doesn't even, to our knowledge, according to this interview, doesn't even have a Turkish passport. Just has a German passport. The EU lied, said he was Turkish, ignored the fact he was a German citizen. And the reason they ignored the fact he was a German citizen is because if he was a German citizen, what they've done to him to destroy his life, to make it so he can't even buy food, Not only that, they sanctioned his wife and it froze her accounts. They lied about his nationality. They fabricated a fake identity that he was Turkish. He's German. And they knew this. But they did it so they could get around German law and the European Court of Human Rights. Incredible. So this is important. This is the level of fraud and just absolute criminal fraud that Brussels, the European Commission, is engaged in. Making up fake information about European citizens in order to punish them. In his case, he's an independent journalist. And he was criticizing, or not even criticizing, but covering pro-Palestinian or anti-genocide protests in his country. Now, we know about Jacques Bau. We spoke about that last week. He is a Swiss citizen. He's living in Brussels, living in Belgium. They sanctioned him because of his analysis of the Ukraine conflict. This is a NATO European intelligence professional. Colonel Jacques Bau worked with NATO intelligence, with the OSCE. As a veteran Swiss military intelligence professional, great career, they targeted him to destroy him. So you're permanently on sanctions for life. Theoretically, it's indefinite, through no judicial process at all. That's what Europe is doing to silence criticism of their failing proxy war against Russia and Ukraine. NATO's failing proxy war, Europe's failing proxy war. These people are, they cannot believe themselves that the construct of their story has collapsed, because it's built on a whole series of lies. The Big 12, I'm going to call it. I'll unveil the Big 12 in a moment. But this is a very important interview. You know, people need to go watch this on Neutrality Studies. Really important. Very, very good channel, but it's extremely relevant right now. This channel has become relevant, and that's thanks to their host. He has taken this issue up because he sees this, obviously, is affecting everyone, including himself and every single guest on his show practically. So hat tip to Pascal Lotaz. So that's our recommendation for YouTube channels this week. So here, let's start here, okay? The decline and fall of Europe. Germany is in terminal decline. And, you know, one of the reasons it's having to clamp down on destroy freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, this is happening in the UK, this is also happening in the US, to protect Israel. Not just to protect Israel, but to protect their role, to protect their own sort of sordid role in all of this, supplying weapons in an ongoing genocide. I know. You're not allowed to say genocide. Is this something that is not the done thing? So this is what's happening right now. So they're willing to dismantle all of these, you know, freedom of speech, all of the liberal values, democratic freedoms and values, all these things that Europe claims it has that Russia doesn't have, yet they're dismantling everything right now. They're attacking their own citizens. Ironically, in this case, to defend Israel, but if they're attacking them over Ukraine, it's to defend their democracy, they claim, against Russian disinformation. I mean, it's just patently retarded at this point. But anyway, I mean, here's the push. There's plenty of pushback in Europe. This was last year. 600 senior state employees demand Germany stop arming Israel. This is in Germany. What did the German government do? Well, they started targeting people, attacking people for this. So there's plenty. What we're saying here is there's plenty of pushback. There's plenty of dissidence in Europe. But rather than the states, governments, hugely unpopular governments in Germany, France, and other countries as well, in the UK, Merz, Macron, Starmer, the tripartite, pro-genocide, pro-Israeli, pro-war bloc in Europe, massively unpopular. Average approval ratings between 10 and 20%. I mean, Merz didn't even win the first round of his election. They had to basically fiddle the German electoral rules in order to fast-track him into power. This is somebody who doesn't even have nothing near a majority. Obviously, that's why his approval ratings are so ridiculously low. But, you take a look at the placard that this guy in this article is holding up. That's practically illegal in Germany to point out. I mean, this guy would probably get arrested if he did this now. This was last April. Just when things are, let's blow that up a little bit. Pretty accurate, though. Germany is bankrolling Israel as they bomb children by the tens of thousands. I mean, it's shameful. But this is part, and Israel plays on this. They know that Germany is so desperate to atone for its guilt of the Second World War that it's willing to atone all the way down to the last Palestinian. And that's about the size of it. That's about the size of it. Why else would you be backing a country whose prime minister is in the international courts of justice? Germany is a signatory to the ICC. And Benjamin Netanyahu and the defense minister, Yoav Gallant, are indicted for crimes against humanity. Vicious, brutal crimes against humanity. And the German government just keeps the tap open for Israel. It doesn't make any sense, does it? And the International Courts of Justice, the ICJ, have ruled that they are carrying out a genocide and ordered cease and desist. And Israel ignored it, and so did Germany. I mean, it's to say nothing about the contributions of the UK to the Israeli war machine or the United States, which is obviously the main driver of the war. This is a Western and Israeli war against the native Arab population, you see. This is a colonial war. There's no other way to describe it. And so the reaction of the European bureaucracy and the self-appointed rulers is to attack their own citizenry, claiming that these people are anti-Semitic, or in the case of Ukraine, claiming that that they're pro-Russian, or that they're part of a Russian fifth-generation warfare influence operation, or whatever. It just gets more ridiculous. It's these photo ops. I mean, these are a dime a dozen. These are supposedly the strong European front there they got their little actor. Zelensky was a 2-bit vaudeville TV comedian in a European backwater television market called Ukraine. Okay, that's the president of Ukraine. Literally dropping his trousers on stage on national TV and playing the piano with his third leg. That's that guy, Zelensky. I mean, how can anyone take Ukraine seriously? But he was put into that role intentionally. His whole political career was engineered in preparation for this war, the war that the United States, that Israel, and that the upper echelons of Europe knew was coming, and they did everything possible to make it happen. Okay, that is not my theory. This war was provoked. The West provoked Russia, and they did everything humanly possible to make sure that this war happened. And now we know why. Now we know why. They had 320 billion reasons to provoke this war, you see. Because Europe is unfortunately fallen back into its genetic predisposition, which is piracy, stealing. What do you have to understand about Europe, the West, the British Empire, the United States, is how they get rich and powerful. They didn't get rich and powerful by magicking up wonderful things. They got rich and powerful and dominated through piracy, basically, exploiting their colonies. Let's put it that way. The U.S. did one better. They got rich and took power of the global system by exploiting Europe. World War I and World War II. The U.S. bankrupted Britain and bankrupted Europe, and then made them totally vassalized, and later as basically mules in propping up the U.S. dollar as a world reserve currency through the euro-dollar market, and the U.S. did the same to Japan. Got them to pay for the U.S. deficit spending, got them to subsidize the U.S. military-industrial complex so that the U.S. could then control and dominate them and all the other regions in the world. Genius system. But the Europeans themselves already were a spent force at that point. But they had gotten rich and prosperous. Rich enough and prosperous enough to raise massive armies and destroy each other during World War I and World War II because they're not that intelligent. The bankers just sat back and let it play out. But the average European politician, plagued with petty tribal rivalries, petty narcissistic nationalist proclivities, as they struggled to find themselves in their post-colonial phase. It was harder for them to rape, pillage, and plunder Africa, Latin America, and Asia, and the Middle East. So they started to pillage and plunder each other. And the United States just sat back, let them destroy themselves, and then walked in, declared victory, and the rest is history. That's how smart the Europeans are. And their genius knows no end. And now, as the European project is failing, and these clowns are accelerating the process, are now in the process of destroying all the vestiges of liberal democracy in Europe under the guise of defending democracy. I mean, honestly, you couldn't make it up. You really couldn't make it up. These are the cream of the crop right here. And the guy who's making it happen is the little green man in Kiev. The pint-sized dictator named Volodymyr Zelensky. That guy. He's the one who's making it all happen. He is single-handedly responsible for bankrupting Europe and the West, especially Europe. Obviously, he's bankrupted and destroyed his own country. I mean, where do we start? Where do we start? The decline and fall of Europe. This little man is being used to accelerate that process. Who benefits from this? There's a lot of beneficiaries. Definitely not Ukraine. They're sure if you're in a position to get your hands on Western cash as it rolls in, or sell Western weapons for cash on the black market, whatever the grift is in Ukraine, if you're in a position to profit off any of that, you're a short-term winner. The country, of course, is being destroyed. Their male population is being liquidated on the altar, being sacrificed on the altar of European vanity. And this idea of European values, it's grotesque in the extreme. So this is the post-Cold War era, where Europe should have jettisoned NATO. Instead, NATO went into hyperdrive. Very clever what the Americans did, and the British. And they brought Europe along for the ride, and Europe was happy to do that because of the weak leadership and vapid Eurocrat sort of species of politician that rose to the ascendancy as each European member state lost its sovereignty piece by piece, bit by bit, to Brussels and to the European Central Bank, to the Bank of International Settlements. It's quite extraordinary. So Germany has been convinced to have this adversarial position against Russia. After getting destroyed by the Red Army during World War II, I mean, Russia inflicted over 80% of the casualties on Germany, on the Nazi Wehrmacht during World War II. It wasn't the West. It wasn't the US or Britain. No, Russia broke the back of the Nazis. And I don't think the Germans ever forgave them for that. That's maybe where some of this comes from. I mean, again, we say petty, tribal, nationalistic proclivities, rivalries. This defines Europe in the post-colonial era. Okay? That includes the entirety of the 20th century. So we have that. Now we have the death of critical thinking. We have the death of reason in Europe. We saw this during COVID, just absolute hysteria during COVID, the obsession with vaccinating people, vaccine passports, censorship. I mean, fascism made such a dramatic comeback in Europe during the whole COVID fake pandemic, pseudo-pandemic. Open debate became a threat. A threat to who? A threat to Pfizer? A threat to Moderna? A threat to Operation Warp Speed, European edition? So quickly, with all these authoritarian measures that got fast-tracked in, and then with followed quickly on its heels, the Ukraine conflict and the threat of, quote, Russian disinformation. I mean, the Russian disinformation trope started after Maidan in 2014, and it just ramped up from there. With Trump, 2016-17, that's when Europe really started ramping that up. And then, of course, we had a break with COVID, where the authoritarians moved on to that issue, and now they're back to the Russian threat, because they want to build up Europe as a total war machine, to supposedly have a war with Russia. I can't imagine this is going to end well. These people are insane. So the war on intellectualism, the war on critical thinking, the war on the post-Enlightenment Europe, because as you dumb down the political conversation, then that's the end of your democracy. It's quite simple. You can't have a so-called democracy unless you have open debate, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. That means your system is not very robust. If it cannot accommodate critical debate, it cannot accommodate citizens critical of policy, especially war policy. If you can't accommodate that as a society or a country, then you can't call yourself a democracy. You are by definition authoritarian. You are the very thing you accuse Russia of. Period. And all to lionize and ingratiate yourself with this guy in one of the most corrupt countries in the world, probably ever, Zelensky. So you remember this. This was the cocaine express from Kiev into Poland. Starmer, Macron, Merz, the gentle giant, all 6'7" of them, with these two. I mean, they're all posing as leaders. Lots of photo ops. Endless photo ops with these people. It just never ends. I mean, it's always like a strong front. It's Russian aggression. So European Digital Services Act comes in, and all these people are banking on this type of authoritarian legislation in order to quell any dissent or to enact and implement speech controls over the population. Because, God forbid, anybody doesn't want to go to war with Russia and thinks that maybe a negotiated settlement or coming to a peace agreement might be a better option. But that's not a more profitable option, not for the defense industry. That's the problem. That's the problem here. And so these people are even going so far as to, in Germany specifically, as to label criticism against the government as a threat to the state. That means if you're in a democracy and you're with another party and, you know, your party didn't get into power, let's say you represent other interests or other political party, a minority position, and if you publicly criticize the government in power, then you're potentially a threat to the state. Therefore, you become a threat to national security. Therefore, you will be arrested or sanctioned. Tell me what's democratic about this. I mean, this is the naked authoritarianism. Naked. There's no debate. There's no gray area here. That's what it is. These people accuse Russia of fifth-generation warfare. So if Jacques Bau or some other Western analyst or independent journalist has an opinion that happens to agree with Sergei Lavrov or Vladimir Putin, God forbid, then that's seen as somehow part of a Russian information or fifth-generation warfare influence operation. So even if you've come to your opinion on your own volition, even if you're an academic who has a track record of analysis or you're a professional, according to these people, that doesn't mean anything. You're a Russian, you're part of a Russian disinformation operation. This is so anti-intellectual. It's almost childish in how it views the information space. So lacking in nuance, but so undemocratic. They're literally throwing it all out the window. And they're in a rush to do that. There's something seriously wrong with this situation, with these people. So we're going to ask, some hard questions here. What are these people doing? What sort of political leadership are these countries or populations getting here? These people have already decided, they've committed their countries, their young people, to conscription, to going to war. They've committed their future fortunes, state treasures. They've already piled up debt for the future to turn Europe into an arsenal to fight Russia. For what? For who? Not for this guy. For that guy? For a second-rate vaudeville comedian who won't even hold elections in Ukraine because he knows he's going to lose. I mean, it's incredible. There he is shaking hands with the last empty suit who was called himself NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. So what they've done here also is they've basically, there's no difference between NATO and the EU now. They've fused them together. So no European member states is really allowed to have an independent foreign policy. So Europe has done taking a wrecking ball to European members' sovereignty. If you don't have your own independent foreign policy, you are not sovereign. And of course, if you don't print your own money or have control of your own currency, you're not sovereign either. So member states of the EU, their sovereignty has been whittled away through the single currency, through the European Union as a political project, which it was a bit of a bait and switch. It was supposed to be a common market, and they weren't forthcoming about plans to have a political union or a federal Europe. This was all kept on the margins. And through incrementalism, suddenly Europe is now able to, without any due process, sanction its own citizens for disagreeing with NATO policy, punishing them worse than if they were a criminal convicted in a court. But it's evidence-free accusations. It is Stalin-esque. It is Soviet. And now these people engaged in piracy, $320 billion in Russian assets. They want to steal it, the Europeans, and give some of it to Zelensky, but most of it for themselves. Why? Because they can't compete on the global market. These former colonial powers are finished raping and pillaging their own citizenry by saddling them with debt, by creating inflationary cycles and housing bubbles and wars like this one that are making their populations poorer, imposing austerity measures. So they're recolonizing their own populations because there's no more colonies left to exploit. At least it's not easy to do it anymore. Africa is wise to the game, as is Latin America, as is Asia. And they can't compete. So they're trying to start a war, and they started a war successfully in order to bait Russia so that it could steal their assets. That's a big part of what this is about. Piracy, theft. This is a white-collar, Brussels is a white-collar criminal organization that it's become, with a corporate face, a technocracy that is obsessed with control and trying to somehow, sustain an imaginary narrative about what is obviously a proxy war against Russia, using Ukraine as a cudgel to weaken Russia and to strengthen the European military-industrial complex in what can only be called military Keynesianism. This idea that you can somehow magic up economic growth by building up for a major war. In terms of fighting it, if it goes thermonuclear, forget about Europe. It's finished. I would say it's already finished. And then you have the issue of the Nord Stream pipeline. Did you know that the United States broke LNG export records this month? After breaking it in November, they broke it again. 18.6 billion cubic meters per day average. U.S. LNG, most of that's coming to Europe. That's because NATO blew up the Nord Stream pipelines. Not Ukraine, not a 50-foot sailboat with 5 drunken Ukrainian super soldiers. No. No. That was an operation. The United States is laughing all the way to the bank. The Nord Stream sabotage bailed out the U.S. fracking industry. The numbers don't lie. Sorry to break it to you, but that's just the way it is. So what's amazing about this is this has caused European energy prices to skyrocket. Europe doesn't want to complain about it. They're just on their knees saying to America, thank you, thank you. 3 bags full, sir. Send me more overpriced LNG over the Atlantic. Thank you, thank you. Or as Mark Rutte would say, the current NATO Secretary General, thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy. Daddy Biden. But it was a NATO operation. There's multiple NATO countries with knowledge and involved in that operation, most certainly. Most certainly. And we've proven some of that at 21st Century Wire with our great reporting and the great research and journalism by Freddie Ponton as well. So we'll break in a moment, but before we do that, let's look at the Big 12. This is the Big 12. Let's go through this. We'll continue to develop this. Okay. Pay attention. Screenshot this if you want. Take notes. Because let's have the debate. The Big 12. I was on Danny Davis's Deep Dive podcast. It's a good show in America. It's a good size audience. I told him I was going to do this. Europe's lies about the Ukraine war. The Big 12. There's more. I have actually about 22 of these, but I picked the best 12. So the first lie, Russia's unprovoked war of choice. Okay. To say this is unprovoked is a complete lie. A complete lie. And that's one of the main pillars of this whole facade of this war. It wasn't unprovoked. It was provoked. The main provocation came with the U.S.-backed and EU-backed coup in Kiev, in the Maidan coup, violent coup, February 2014, and it just continued from there. Germany and France were guarantors of the Minsk peace process. After the Maidan, Ukraine declared war on its own citizens of Russian ethnicity and Russian language and used their own military, armed by NATO, to attack their own citizens. Okay, that's what Ukraine did under Petro Poroshenko and also under Zelensky. There was 8 years to implement the Minsk peace process. And the U.S. and the Europeans and Zelensky and Poroshenko intentionally sandbagged it and undermined it to give NATO time to rearm Ukraine to prepare for war. The Minsk agreement would have kept the Donbass inside Ukraine as part of Ukraine. It was even mandated by the UN Security Council in a unanimous vote, Resolution 2202. They intentionally derailed it, and they admitted it. That's on record. Zelensky's on record. Poroshenko's on record. Those are 2 Ukrainian presidents. Merkel's on record. François Hollande, the French leader, is on record. Okay, that's pretty. It's an open shut case. This was a provoked war. It was avoidable, and the Europeans did everything possible to make this war happen. Russia's full-scale invasion. It wasn't a full-scale invasion. Russia surrounded Kiev in order to create leverage for peace negotiations, which happened in Istanbul weeks later. And again, they could have got more or less very close to the Minsk agreement, brought it all to a close, scaled down the hostilities, and the Donbass would have probably stayed in Ukraine. But the Americans and the British sabotaged peace negotiations. Ukraine already signed off. Zelensky already signed off on a deal. Russia and Ukraine agreed. But the West intervened because they wanted a long war. This is documented. This is fact. This is fact. It's beyond debate. This has been proven many times over, including peer-reviewed academic work. So, censors in Brussels, you're going against empirical fact. If you claim this is Russian disinformation, it's not. You may not like it, but it's true. Here's another lie. Defending Ukrainian sovereignty. Ukraine is not sovereign. When your government is subsidized, right down to pensions and retirement funds, your whole operation of your government is being subsidized by U.S. cash and foreign aid, and your army is being pumped up with weapons and intelligence and military trainers and support and command structures and Western intelligence agencies like the CIA that have carved out floors of whole buildings in Kiev as bases of operation. You are not sovereign. Zelensky, even when he was under mandate, while he was elected, he's not now, he's just a dictator now, but while he was elected, he was in a position to implement the Minsk Accords, avoid the war. He was in a position to abide by the Istanbul Agreement, avoid the war, but he caved. Why? Because Ukraine and he are not sovereign. That's why. There's nothing sovereign about Ukraine. Nothing. Nothing. They are a colonial protectorate of the U.S. and NATO, period. And that's not a Russian talking point. That is an empirical fact. Next, defending Ukrainian democracy. Again, Zelensky suspended elections. Not just because he would lose, but because if it was put to a vote, if the election was a referendum for continuing the war, the people surely would vote to stop the war. That's why there's no elections in Ukraine. So to hell with Ukrainian democracy. It's about as much of a joke as Brussels democracy. Next lie, number 5. Russia plans to invade Europe. Who invented this talking point? It's beyond fantasy. This is like some kind of a mushroom trip in Brussels. You really think Russia's going to invade and occupy Poland? I mean, these people are on drugs. They must be on something. Honestly, sober, sane people can't say such things or believe them. Then you must be really detached from reality or really stupid. Either way, it's bad. It's a very bad situation for Western Europe. Russia has no plans to invade. They're not going to steamroll across Poland and then Germany and France and then invade Britain. I mean, just retarded. It's an understatement. I'm saying it's retarded is being kind. It's being kind. That's a compassionate assessment of that idea. Anybody repeating that idea, seriously, you have to question their sanity or check if they're on heavy medication. Just saying. Next. So, I mean, again, they want you to forget that this wasn't happening in 2021 or 2022, early 2022. This was all being managed, we were told. But the Europeans were behind the scenes sabotaging. These people were talking, they were negotiating, trying to come to a solution. But America didn't want that, and so they were behind the scenes driving things towards the war. So let's look at the other ones. That was number 5. Number 6, Russia is losing the war. Russia's losing the war. They've been telling this since February 2022. Russia's on its last legs. They're fighting with shovels. The Russian military is in disarray. They're losing the war. They're still saying it. So how can it be true that Russia is going to steamroll through Europe, but yet they've been losing the war the whole time? They can't make up their mind. This is total cognitive dissonance. But that's the normal state for anybody that believes any of these talking points, that you're in a permanent state of cognitive dissonance. Russia's losing the war. No, they're clearly not. They're clearly dominating, and that's why there's a panic to have a peace agreement, to have a ceasefire. That's why. Because they know Russia's about to basically pull the biggest victory of the whole conflict, which is when they take Odessa. And when they take Odessa, it's over for NATO. NATO can disband at that point. Why? Look at the map. Geopolitically, NATO is finished. It's already finished, but that would be the last nail in its coffin. Period. End of story. Next lie. So we've given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the Russian economy is collapsing. They've been saying this forever. And guess what? Even under a full embargo, full sanctions, Russian GDP growth is outpacing the European Union again, and projected to do so again in 2026. Wow. So I guess the sanctions are working. Sanctions are working, right, Europe? All going great, right? Oh, what a genius policy. And so they're so pissed off about this, about their failure, that they feel they have to steal Russian assets to make up for their failure. And they have to censor their own populations and end free speech in Europe to cover up for their failure. That's what's happening. That's why the EU is lashing out at their own citizens. Because no one believes this trope that Russia is threatening democracy. So now they're tightening up speech controls in Europe, in the UK, maybe in the US, but less so. Telling their citizenry that they're doing this, they're tightening up speech control and freedom of expression, academic freedom. They're doing it to defend their democracy. So the trope about defending democracy abroad is collapsed. And so now they're tightening up speech control at home to protect democracy at home. I mean, it's just, the whole thing is ridiculous. So the Russian economy is not collapsing. In fact, it's outpacing the West. And again, here we go. Ukraine is not corrupt. We keep hearing that from everybody. Ukraine is not corrupt. Ukraine is not corrupt. Yes, it is. How many corruption scandals over the last month? Endless. And many more before that. But they didn't get any press coverage because of the dishonest media and bureaucratic class covered it up for the last 4 years. Ukraine is inherently and systemically corrupt, politically. And so when you flood it with hundreds of billions of welfare money and free weapons and free cash, that money is going to get chewed up through the machinery of corruption. Doesn't take a genius. So they've been painting them as these angelic champions of European values and democracy, but Ukraine is anything but. And Zelensky is the mascot for this corrupt, hopelessly corrupt state. that's basically bankrupting Europe. You couldn't make it up. And so here are the last group of the 12. Next, there are no Nazis in Ukraine. I mean, excuse me? Half the Ukrainian military is under the sort of Azov battalion or related Nazi regiments. It's everywhere. Look at their flags. Europeans are allowing Azov battalion Nazi flags to fly in Europe over in front of European government buildings. Europe has armed a Nazi movement, an armed radical nationalist Nazi movement in Europe, paid for by the EU and NATO and the West. So yes, there are Nazis in Europe. And Zelensky he serves at their pleasure. He is bringing home the bacon for the Nazis, so that's why he's in power. The minute he doesn't, he's out. Simple. Next. Russia was weaponizing European energy. No, that's another lie. Russia was providing Europe with affordable, dependable energy, and the European economy, the German economy in particular, was thriving as a result. It was the West who threatened to blow up Nord Stream and then blew it up. That is weaponizing energy. Russia didn't do that. The US, NATO, and Europe did. Joe Biden even telegraphed it. He said he was going to end the Nord Stream. That was a partnership between Russia and Europe, which Europe prospered from, which America had to bring to an end. Because America wanted that monopoly over energy in Europe. European businesses have gone to America because they can't afford to open their factories in Europe. So America basically sucked European legacy industries, sucked them out of Europe and into America by destroying the Nord Stream pipeline. So Russia never weaponized energy. It even supplied energy to Ukraine during the war, believe it or not. So that's a lie. And everything I'm saying is purely factual and provable many times over. Here's another lie. This is number 11. Russia is isolated globally. No, it's not. Russia's increased its relations and trade with China and the BRICS network, which is now growing faster than ever because of sanctions, because of U.S. and European policy. U.S. and Europe have proliferated and accelerated the development of BRICS and the other international competing networks to the Western system. They themselves have accelerated it through their policies like sanctions and continuing to run this proxy war based on lies. And last, Russia is abducting millions of Ukrainian children. That is a total fabrication, and it was used as the basis for an ICC indictment against Vladimir Putin and one of his ministers. And it's used to create a fake moral case that makes this a moral war. Europe's on a moral crusade against the evil Russians. A complete fabrication, a total lie. It's been disproven many times, including initially by an excellent report by the Gray Zone. No evidence whatsoever. All accusations completely unfounded. Made up. I mean, one guy, Peter Zion, I can't pronounce his name. He's a best-selling author. He said at a live event that Russia is abducting millions of children from Ukraine a couple years ago. I mean, these are people that are supposedly respected, but they say things like this, evidence-free claims. You drill down and you look into that case, as diligent journalists have done, you'll see it's complete fraud. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll call them the Big 12. That's the Big 12. These are the lies that all of these policies are based on. So they're committing their populations to war, to a future of warfare based on lies. And I don't even want to get into the casualty numbers. That Europe is suppressing Ukrainian deaths on the battlefield and basically inflating Russian deaths when in fact it's the inverse, in order to maintain some kind of moral legitimacy that this is still they're on the right side, and they're on the morally right side because they're supposedly winning, and they're inflicting more casualties on the Russian side than on the Ukrainian side. Therefore, that justifies keeping the war going, when in fact the Ukrainian casualties, deaths, injured, POWs, it dwarfs the numbers on the Russian side by orders of magnitude. Because if the European or the Western public knew and understood this, they wouldn't support this war any further, not for even a minute. But that's how callous, not to be confused with Kalia, that's how callous this and immoral this proxy war actually is. These people don't have a leg to stand on, but yet they're telling you to get behind the war forever, indefinitely, because of the evil Russians. This is the decline and fall of Europe that we are witnessing. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty unbelievable how it's come to this. It is really incredible. Anyway, we'll do more on this. Obviously, we're publishing an article on this as well. So, but again, thank you for hanging with us during the opening monologue. Went a little bit longer than expected, but we're going to connect with our teammates in just a moment. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is the Sunday Wire. We're streaming out live on many platforms. Like and subscribe to our channel if you can. We really appreciate it. We need your support to help break through the algorithm suppression that we suffer from. But we will be back in just a few moments. Stay with us.
Don't need war, we need peace. We need to find a release from the ties that bind our minds, from the constraints that rule our lives. Politics has failed again. Power's in the hands of dangerous men, with their fury and their rage, and minds bent with fear, greed and hate. They're dropping bombs again. They don't know that all lives are heaven sent. It's time to stop the genocide, the warmongering in our times. Now is the time. It's time for us to visualize a world where peace will shine. Now is the time. Now is the time. Now's the time for change. Tell me, do you feel the same? For here we stand in the name of love, all peoples of the world as one. The revelation needed on the street is that we're more powerful than we believe. What they don't want us to know is that the light of love we shine they can't control. The other day I spoke to God. She said to me, share this message in a song. It's time to stop the genocide, the warmongering in our times now. Now is the time. It's time for us to visualize a world where peace will shine. Now is the time. Now is the time. We don't need war, we need peace. We need to come together in unity. We can change the world tonight when we let love be our guiding light. It's time to stop the genocide, the warmongering in our times now. Now is the time. It's time for us to visualize a world where peace will shine now. Now is the time. It's time to heal dividing lines for the sake of humankind now. Now is the time. It's time for us to realize that we're all one in God's mind now. Now is the time. Now is the time. We don't need war, we need peace. We don't need war, we need peace. We don't need war, we need peace.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is episode 575 of this weekly Omnibus News and Analysis TV and radio program. Again, brought to you here on the Alternate Current Radio Network, as well as streaming on X, YouTube, Rumble, BitChute Live, Facebook Live, and on the audio streams afterwards, iTunes, Spotify, and all the top sort of podcasting platforms as well. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate being here this week. And again, before we bring our teammates up on stage for some overdrive, I want to point out the winter fundraising drive. This is happening right now. We'll update the dial because there's been an influx of donations the last couple of weeks, and especially, well, we'll name a few over Christmas. Really appreciate you guys stepping up. Again, you can support us here, donate, or become a member. Subscribe to 21wire.tv. That's one way you can support us regularly. We really appreciate it. It's not very expensive, but we really, really appreciate it. So let's look at and recognize some of the people that have stepped up in the last couple of weeks over the Christmas period here. Daniela M., thank you so much. Peter C., many thanks. Derek W., David P., Cynthia, Janet P., as well as John S. Thank you very much. John and Frederick W., very good donation. Thank you, Frederick. And Ms. Diana L., thank you again. Another great donation. Francis S., many thanks. Really appreciate it. Charlene C. Karen M., thank you so much. Robert S., thank you. Very generous donation. Thank you so much. And John P., thank you. Jill A., also James B., Seymour K., Carmen D., Jenny E., many thanks to Jenny for your donation there. Big thanks to Alex S., who came in with a very nice, generous donation. Thank you, Alex. Much appreciated. And Eric W., many thanks. Patricia B., big donation there from Patricia. Thank you so much, Patricia. That's very generous of you. William S., Martin K., thank you very much. Hanan S., and Naima S. I hope I pronounced that right. Naima S. Thank you so much. Subscription, became a member at 21wire.tv. Thank you. So a couple of new members there. Naima, Karen, as well as John, and a couple of other things. Those are the new members. So thank you, all of you, for stepping up. You guys, amazing. Look, this is how we make it happen going into 2026, and we can't do it without you. And we've made some major strides. You've seen our viral video campaigns we've been running for the last 2 years. Those have stepped up. Our content is amazing. We have a great team, and this show is developed as well. And again, if you like what we're doing, and you want us to not just survive but thrive in 2026, we need your help to make it happen. Let's hit our targets before the end of this winter fundraising drive, and that'll be in February. So still a few more weeks to get involved. Thank you guys who have. Let me bring on stage Ruckus from Alternate Current Radio. Ruckus, thank you for dressing for the occasion.
What occasion would that be?
The holiday season. You look incredibly smart.
That's right. It was the holiday, was it? I hope yours was very well, Patrick. Did you have a nice Christmas?
I would say I'm a low profile this year. Very much a low profile holiday season. For me,
I apologize
it's
in advance. As most people do these days, I was a little late in getting your gift, so it's on its way. But I'll go ahead and reveal the gift that I ordered from you online. It is none other than Dr. Anthony Fauci's coloring book. Because I thought you would get a kick out of that. So keep an eye out.
Leave that up
one,
on
Patrick.
screen for a moment. Let's take a good look at that. I mean, that again, it's propaganda, because I mean, that's a buff Fauci. That can't be real. That's the physique that I can't see. So this is just pure propaganda to really make Fauci look good here. This is what they're doing, isn't it, Ruckus?
It was one of the best sellers just a couple of weeks ago, back in 2021. But if it wasn't for me ordering so many copies this year, I think it probably wouldn't do so well. So I'm happy to be passing these out to all my buddies out there online.
So you're subsidizing the success of that title, basically. Okay.
It's a good one.
Well, that's just a damning and self-indictment right there, Ruckus. So I don't know what to say.
Well, we gotta be pro all of the narratives here in order to get the clicks and the likes and the views. So we're very much Fauci fans here, aren't we, Patrick?
Oh, are you trying to see the algorithm in our favor again, Ruckus? Is that what you're doing?
I'm just doing my part, my friend.
This has just become too subversive, folks. Too subversive. White Claw is saying it's cringe, but it's not. It's good for the algorithm. Thank you, Ruckus, for doing your part. Here we go. See, you've started a trend, Kurt Boss. We love untested vaccines. YouTube, are you listening? Listening is the algorithm. Listen, we love untested vaccines, untested experimental clot shots. We love them. We support.
I'm glad
them.
Because in case you didn't hear, I just caught the news. Some of those AI people who do, they're all hands deep into AI and teach people how to use it. They're making their predictions for next year, and I swear to God, every single one of them included as one of their predictions that AI will be creating tailor-made mRNA technology jibby jabs for you individually, just for you. That's going to be fun and exciting.
That's short for Ozempic. OZPC 6438. vaccines plus wars equals 21st century slavery. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's vaccines and wars. That's the digital ID right there. You doing anything to threaten national security? Not speaking out of turn, or you're flying, or you haven't, resolved your carbon footprint or whatever. I mean, it's kind of where things are heading. Pfizer colors, Fauci, Pfizer colors. Color within the lines, Ruckus, says little Carle, stay within the lines. Yeah. See, this isn't good for the algorithm right here, PR Tanner. Anthony Fauci, jail for life. YouTube's not going to like that. You have to shape up. We need to say good things about Fauci. What a beautifully pristine white coat that he wore, with how respectable he was, and a voice of humanity, really, Ruckus. I mean, Fauci was really a voice of humanity amidst all the fake news.
Let's be fair. We absolutely should go after Fauci, prosecute him, throw him in jail, throw away the key, only if he supports Russia.
That's right. That's right. So he's not taking a side. I think he supports Zelensky, so this is good. And we all should support Zelensky, right, right, Ruckus?
Oh, yeah, dude, I love that guy. He's got all this personality. I know he's a little shorter than most people out there, but that's okay. It gives you character.
He's a champion of democracy, isn't he? I mean, I think so.
He's a fashion mogul where I come from. People love to track him and his wife. They don't track the wife so much anymore, but they love his little army outfits. To the discerning, the untrained eye, it looks like he's wearing the same outfit every day, but it's not. There's subtle variations, and he's really got a thing going there, Patrick. I give him kudos for that, 100%.
And the other thing we're supposed to say is that he's doing us all a huge service in the West, because he is holding back the Russian hordes. He is defending our democracy. So we need to give him as many weapons as we can, and so that he can throw as many of his own population into the meat grinder. All of the young men in Ukraine can go to the trenches to help protect Europe and European democratic values. It all adds up, doesn't it? It's such a clean equation, Ruckus, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. That's why Zelensky, I did not send him the Fauci coloring book. Instead, I sent him a bag full of straws, because I know how much he likes those straws. So he's going to be very happy, because he's going to have the opportunity to use those straws aplenty very soon if he gets that Russian money, Patrick.
Oh no, he's got an EU loan. He's got a bridge loan. The European citizens will go into debt another 109 billion euros, and that'll keep Zelensky, keep his Colombian supply going for another 12 months, and maybe some weapons. I mean, they won't have any men to fire the weapons, but they'll have the weapons, which is good, right?
We didn't mention it last week, but did you see his most recent gaffe where the glob came flying out of his nose?
No, I did see that. Was that not AI? Was that real?
I thought that was real. Yeah.
It looked real. I mean, it's hugely embarrassing. Of course, why would it? The media wouldn't want to. Yeah.
It's too easy for them now. It's AI has given them all a pass. All they have to say now is that was fake. It was AI generated. They don't even have to say that. They can say it was probably AI generated and just move on. It's so sad. There's no accountability, no journalism, no nothing. And we don't even know we can't even believe our own eyes when we see this stuff anymore. We would literally have to hop on a plane, get groped by the TSA if you're traveling from America, of course, and then, go witness it ourselves and do all of this stuff. But who can afford to do that these days, Patrick?
That's right. There he is. We'll bring him up on screen here. Oh my God, I forgot to play the video clip in the opening segment. I'm going to have to do it now. Chris Morrell saying the Zelensky act was like Ben Elton crossed with French and Saunders. I think that's an insult to Ben Elton and French and Saunders. I mean, Zelensky, it's just real low-grade Eastern European vaudeville stuff. I mean, maybe it would have been good in Britain in like the 70s, maybe the 80s, but it's not even reaching Panto levels, really. And that's being kind. So I'm going to play this clip for you, Ruckus, because I think this clip is just going to be emblematic of everything that's wrong with this picture. I should have played this during the opening gambit. I meant to, but I got carried away in the monologue, as you do. So let me see. It's this is special. So this was 60 Minutes interviewing Ruckus, interviewing the German bureaucrats who are championing arresting people for Facebook and Twitter posts. So listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, and be astounded by the plummeting IQ of the German managerial class.
Yes, it is.
And that's clear. Is it a crime to insult somebody in public?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And it's a crime to insult them online as well?
Yes.
The fine could be even higher
Yeah.
if you insult someone in the internet.
Why?
Because in internet, it stays there. If we are talking here face to face, you insult me, I insult you, okay, finish. But if you in the internet, if I insult you or a politician,
That sticks around forever.
Yeah.
If somebody posts something that's not true, and then somebody else reposts it or likes it, are they committing a crime?
Yeah, in the case of reposting, it is a crime as well, because the reader can't distinguish whether you just invented this or just reposted it. That's the same for us.
The punishment for breaking hate speech laws can include jail time for repeat offenders. But in most cases, a judge levies a stiff fine and sometimes keeps their devices.
How do people react when you take their phones from them?
They are shocked.
It's 6:01 on a Tuesday morning, and we were with state police as they raided this apartment in northwest Germany.
Hier ist die Polizei, wir müssen bitte mal mit Ihnen reden.
Inside, 6 armed officers searched a suspect's home, then seized his laptop and cell phone. Prosecutors say those electronics may have been used to commit a crime. The crime, posting a racist cartoon online. At the exact same time across Germany, more than 50 similar raids played out. Part of what prosecutors say is a coordinated effort to curb online hate speech in Germany.
Oh my goodness gracious. What do you think about that? It's a crime to repost a tweet that the state deems to be offensive or racist.
The worst part, Patrick, and I'm sure it's not lost on you, but it's not just it's not a crime because you did something wrong, like because you're no, it's a crime, your repost that is, because the reader is too stupid to figure out if what they're looking at is real or not. Therefore, you are a criminal for posting. I mean, like, holy moly, the mental gymnastics on this one is flabbergasting. And then, I guess really no surprise here, but I mean, very disappointing being an American to see 60 Minutes, which is an American produced media production, right? And that was an American reporter discussing these things that should be shocking and unacceptable to Americans who practice and believe in freedom of speech. There was zero pushback, at least from that clip from the reporter. She didn't seem shocked. It almost seems like they're like, hey, this is a neat idea. We should probably do this here too, which is why I believe it was such a softball kind of, like, I think they put this out there to then judge the comments underneath and say, okay, who likes this and who doesn't? They take their scores and they say, oh, shoot, we could probably get away with this right here, right now, right? Let's do it. Click that button, Patrick. It's crazy.
And she didn't push back at all. She was just kind of like, and they're just giggling. Oh, yes. Oh, they're shocked when they steal their devices. And
yeah, it's all this so fun, just taking things from people, as what you mentioned in the monologue earlier today. What the empire likes to do is it just takes stuff from people. Piracy. So again, here's a bunch of armed thugs. Thank God they had 6 armed thugs to help protect themselves against this criminal whose only crime is to post memes. So what was the guy going to do when they busted down his apartment? Was he going to throw cat memes at the guy? Like, oh, look out. He's got a meme. Get down. I don't know. Why do they need 6 armed guards? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, 6 a.m. dawn raid. So they're doing, they did like 50 raids during that period. So this is what the police are, I guess this is what they're for in Germany, is just policing speech, especially speech that's critical of the government or that disagrees with the Ukraine narrative. Now that's, yeah. They're back. Hello, Gestapo 2.0, says Kurt Boss. You better believe it. They're back.
Does this mean that other types of crime isn't a general problem in Germany and they have all this extra manpower, free time, and money to spend on chasing down social media criminals?
Could be. Could be. It's the state looking for things to do.
That's a good sign then, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is democracy is eating itself, Ruckus. That's what's going on. They're eating themselves to protect Israel, to protect their war in Ukraine, to protect the military defense firms that are making money hand over fist as a result of this conflict, and so forth. I mean, it's just, and to stay in power, to protect their legitimacy, but they're undermining their legitimacy by engaging in authoritarian speech control. I mean, honestly, anyone can see it, but they can't.
Also, what's with, I mean, I'm sure there's a giant dictionary or an encyclopedia available online to people to study and understand what words are considered hateful, what they can share, what they can't share. Is there some sort of training involved here, or do they just assume you have to be smart enough to know what's the truth?
Well, and welcome, Hesher, to the program. And I'll bring you in mid-flight here. Ruckus just brought up a really important point, which is that it's a crime to repost, according to these censorship moguls in Germany, because the person seeing it can't know if it's true or not. So that means it's a crime. So you're being convicted because of the stupidity of the person who's too stupid to know if it's true or not, or is not doing the critical checking research or whatever as a citizen to see if something's true, or to have a debate in a comment thread of whether, I mean, how many times, you guys, have you seen some garbage floating on the internet on one of these platforms and it gets mauled and destroyed in the comment threads? I mean, it happens to the government all the time and elected officials all the time. So it's a self-regulating system as long as you allow the free speech. So these people want to shut that down. So they don't believe in free speech. They do not have democratic values. They don't. They can't claim to. Your thoughts, Hesher? What do you think about your reaction to this madness?
Stupid, man. Stupid. Like a country where I can't carry the new pocket knife that Ruckus got me for Christmas. Like, that country can screw off right out of the gate. I mean,
that's good. You just knocked us back on the algorithm.
Oh yeah, I mean, pocket knives are bad. You definitely shouldn't carry one.
He's not promoting. Okay, we're back. Just doing a little algorithmic reset for YouTube.
Thank you. That little re-education jolt really helped me. I'm feeling much better now. Could I get a jab or two, please?
That's right. What do you guys think in the comment threads? Did that work? Are you guys back on side now? Are you going to play in favor of our algorithmic YouTube suppression?
All I know is I suddenly feel like Israel is our greatest ally. I don't know what you did, Patrick, but I feel better.
Israel, the world has a right to defend itself against Israel. No, or is it Israel has a right to defend itself? I get confused.
You got to Willy Wonka that, flip it, reverse it. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Boosters all around. See, yeah, it's working. VR Tanners, everyone's back online again. It worked. The algorithmic Monty Python reset. Boosters all around. That's right. Oh, Hesher, what a knife. All I saw was a symbol of peace.
That's right. Exactly.
Says Martin Maher, 1965. And being born in 65, he's more mature. He can recognize these things.
True.
He understands the nuance.
That's right.
The knife is a wonderful symbol of peace. Oh, this is, you guys, can you beat this? Look at that.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I'm paying double taxes just in case. Thank you very much. Everyone should pay double taxes. YouTube, are you listening? Is the algorithm listening? Is the AI listening? Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh, here we go. Kurt Boss getting a little bit over the top on this. Greater Israel or bust. Oh, my God. With that, let's bring in Basil Valentine. Hold on. I've got Basil in the green room. Let's bring him up. Valentine calling from his library. Greater Israel or bust? Basil.
Well, hopefully bust, but, people are saying it's an inevitability that, we're looking at not a Pax Americana, but a Pax Judaica. They've got the Arab Emirates on their side. They're, believe it or not, they're undermining Indonesia, which has, long since been an opponent of Zionism. They're wanting, Netanyahu said they want to go from being a secondary power to a primary power in the world. So, they're pouring all this money into surveillance, high-tech stuff. I just discovered that my new Samsung's got a back door. I don't know. It's pretty scary stuff, though, and they'll stop at nothing. That's the thing. You're dealing with fanatics. Quite what they're so fanatical about, other than their own sense of superiority, I'm not quite sure, but they're sort of driven by megalomania, is the only way to describe it, a desire to sort of dominate others and dominate and control. As simple as that, whether that's by territorial gain or whether that's by, owning a country's politicians, making its laws, dictating what you are and are not allowed to say in different countries, in spite of the fact that we've, been witnessing a live stream genocide, which continues to this day. They've actually, in many ways, I'm sorry to say, extended their power. So we've got a real friction point between international law and all the institutions developed after the Second World War, and indeed our shared sense of common decency. And what Israel is doing in the face of all that, just sort of simply, very brazenly defying global international opinion, shutting down dissent wherever possible, both in the UK and the United States, particular Germany, beating up pro-Palestine, anti-genocide campaigners. It's a really, really strange situation that we're in.
Yes, and again, the comments are flooding in, trying to support our algorithmics, YouTube positioning. Tony Blair is a saint, says Photon Belt. Thank you very much. We can get behind that, as well as this. Where can I get a chip in my hand? Recovering TU, not to be confused with Recovering TI, if you know what I'm talking about. Easy now. How was your Christmas, Hesher? How's the holiday seasons been?
It's been great. I really didn't look at a whole lot of news and current events. I've kind of just been putting my head down from the doom scroll for a couple days here. Of course, I don't really ever avoid it when I say that, because I allow my phone to basically just be a large trash collector. I think that's kind of what the doom scroll is now. Is it bad that I'm gonna say this? I'm getting so sick of X. My God, X is just like, we talk about the doom scroll. It is so doomish now. It's just like, my God, and there's this whole new like cellophane wrapper on every single post. It's like, is it AI or not? I'm so sick of like, oh, here's an interesting. Is it AI? Is it a lie? It's just like I'm feeling a little beat down by just the whole like, oh, here's something. Is this satire? Is this real? I don't like it either way. So I don't know. It's been kind of nice to avoid some of that, even though my device is just like a constant toxic sludge, producing square.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. That's what Lindsey Graham said as well. Basil, Chris, how's your holiday season been so far? Has it been
I know what Hesher means about X and the sort of intensity with which people go at each other on there gets ramped up every week. It seems, particularly the MAGA civil war raging like never before. Alex Jones v. Candace Owens, Candace Owens v. Josh Hammer, Tucker Carlson v. Ben Shapiro. Nick Fuentes v. everybody else. It's just, I mean, it's highly entertaining, but at the same time, well, most of the time there seems to be less and less common ground between people. I mean, that's not surprising if you're dealing with people like Ben Shapiro, but it's a sort of an anger and hostility, threats. I mean, Josh Hammer was saying this week that Candace Owens should be locked up in a mental institution, even against her will, and sedated. And he meant it. He was being serious. You know, not joking, not being satirical at all. So yeah, it's pretty intense. Now, I'm able to get away from it by looking at the sports. In particular, the racing over the last few days has been of a very high standard. And it's been both rewarding and also extremely infuriating and frustrating because for viewers that aren't familiar, there's a multiple bet you can do here in the UK called a Heinz, so called because it comprises 57 bets, 114 if you do them each way. Anyway, 4 of the 6 in my bet won, and another one was placed. So I went to investigate what happened to the last leg. It was very strongly fancied. And I watched it back, and he jumped the last hurdle in the lead, was definitely going to win, but just failed to get his legs organized as he landed and crumpled. And had that one gone in as well, that would have been 5 winners out of 6 and a place. And I would be $10,000 richer. As it was, I won, about US about 800 or 900. It was okay.
It's not bad day's work.
But the 10,000 would have been even more welcome, and it was extremely frustrating, put it that way. So anyway, that's what happens. But it's a great way of avoiding X. This is my point. Immersing myself in the form study for 72 hours. I stayed at home. I was able to do that. I had no family commitments. No disappearing off after lunch to read the racing paper wasn't necessary. And it rewarded, I was rewarded with a lot of winners. I won a few quid again today, but this close to a very nice payout,
So I've got one of the YouTube, I've got a backline with one of the YouTube content moderators reaching out to us, just checking to see that we're on message. If you did win the 10,000, Basil, if you did win, would you donate the money to Ukraine or would you donate it to the IDF?
Good question. I'd like to think I would give some to medical aid for Palestinians or something.
Oof. Oh, like that's not good for the algorithm.
Well,
it's not good for the algorithm.
Well, some places you could see yourself arrested for that as well. I mean, material
exactly,
and all that,
and the German authorities are going to be on our ass for what you just said there.
I had it in mind actually to go to Tenerife because it's sunny and warm there,
and there's no extradition from Tenerife as well, so that's also convenient.
I think you can do that now, but anyway, yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So it's so Basil just declines to give his winnings to the IDF or
of
Zelensky.
Course. I'm not Larry Ellison. He's got a lot more money than I have too.
That's a shame. Okay, guys. Oof. Spooks. Did you ever watch that TV show Spooks? I really could never get into that.
I never saw it.
It was a British show, wasn't it? Yeah, it just wasn't gritty enough.
Well, it's just PR for the security services, for the
Yeah,
national security state.
really
Simple as that,
Watered down.
So
is it like 24, like a Jack Bauer sort of show or something?
Not even that gritty. Not even.
Oh,
that gritty.
okay.
I mean, Jack Bauer was disarming nuclear bombs in the middle of L.A. I mean, that was that was fun with chasing Arabs around. Spooks would have been good if it would have been a reenactment of the life of David Shaler and Annie Michon. I mean, that would have been interesting, right? On the run.
She's been back in the news, actually, pointing out Mossad. Yeah, well, it's come round again, put it that way. I've seen it in various feeds. She's been pointing out the Mossad false flag in the 1990s that she and David were involved in investigating. Because, of course, people have got a lot of unanswered questions about Bondi Beach still,
Bondi Beach. I reckon it was a towelheads.
They hate you in Australia for all your freedom, right?
It's a good time for a beer. What do you think? Gentlemen, we're gonna obviously we're gonna have to wrap it up in a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a brief one, but your final thoughts before we break, gentlemen. I'll go around the horn. Mr. Hesher, any message for the new year?
Yeah, I hope it's a good one. I hope everyone has a fun New Year's Eve and try not to spend it in the doom scroll. Pat, if I may I do a live unboxing?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I've got a package here. You may remember a few weeks back, someone in the chat said, I have a bottle of scotch for Hesher. I want to send it to him. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was our friend Little Carle. I believe you met Little Carle in person, right?
Little Carle, she's
sure.
savage in the comment section. She's a savage.
So she found out that Customs doesn't really like it when you send alcohol between countries. So just get her and my address off this thing.
It's a green box. It's a green box, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can tell.
We've lost it against the background. It looks invisible.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's
It's really
cool.
very effective. Yeah.
That's cool.
So hopefully I can
Special effect.
You hold it in front of your body.
yeah,
That's
hopefully
good. That's good. We can't see it unless it's illegal contraband. And
Oh, I hope it is.
Ruckus is going to point. Hold it in front of you because then the background will be your shirt.
this is the great. No, it's an invisible gift.
That's it.
It's an invisible gift.
Oh,
This
now you
is
can
like
see through Hesher. Never mind.
pure TV magic right here.
Great.
Boy, I tell you what, Customs already opened this, so they've already seen our gifts. But look inside. Look how wonderful this is, folks. Oh, I got a note and a box of wrapped presents here from one of our listeners.
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
It sure is.
My goodness, here's one present. Here's
Okay, I know what that is. I know what the gray one is.
you do?
I'm just thinking because you can't send booze.
Nope.
You can't ship, but you can ship things with alcohol in it, but not the alcohol itself.
Oh.
Yes.
Let's see what we got in this one. We got Carol wraps presents very good. Cherry liqueurs. Hey, thanks, Carol.
That's it, with alcohol in it.
Yep. All
That's
right.
it. So we're not promoting drinking, of course.
No.
It's eating.
Yeah, don't drink, folks, but you can eat all the alcohol you want. What else do we got? We got the mint collection.
That's it.
Very nice.
Boozy chocolates.
Yeah. I was also told to give Carol's best to you guys, and she really enjoyed meeting you. Look at this. I got all kind of goodies from Carol here today.
Bless her.
I wish you guys were a little bit closer so that we could all share this. This is going to be too much candy for me to eat all by myself. What do we got in this one?
I'm sure you'll manage.
Did you have to pay a duty on that? Oh, wait a minute. That looks good. What's
Goodness
going on
me.
there? Signature. I mean,
Signature
you're
liqueur.
laughing. You've
Chocolate
just got
liqueur.
the full range. Look at that. Harvey's
Wow.
Bristol Cream, Cointreau. I mean,
Hesher, I'm close to you. I'll be right down.
Ruckus, you are definitely going to have to help me with some of this. I was told actually to make sure that I share with you because Carol's a fan. My dogs are super excited about it too. Sorry about that.
Although they can't have any.
Yeah.
that would really sort of, that would not, some.
Oh, here we go. More chocolate liqueur. Hey,
That's the good stuff right there. Look at the range.
That's what I'm
Mount Gay
talking
rum.
about.
That's just Southern Comfort. Remy Martin, as they say in French.
Yeah.
VSOP. That's brandy, I would imagine. I mean, yeah, you and Spore are just going to get completely hammered on chocolates.
Amazing, Carol.
How about that?
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. This is the last one. We got the holiday signature shortbread collection. Thank you so much, Carol.
Is that alcohol-free shortbread, isn't it? That's
It's got these like purple flowers on them. They look like they might be hallucinogenic in nature.
They look like COVID spike proteins.
Yeah, thank you so much, little Carol. That was just absolutely awesome. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you for the. I say Hawes even look. Uncle Hawes even dropped a comment for you right there.
That's right, Hawes.
Everyone's getting excited. Mime Camp Christmas edition. That's not good for the algorithm. Between that and Hesher waving his knife, we're just going to get completely, potentially canceled. Chuck it, alcohol free, please.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, thank you, little Carol. Really appreciate that. A little bit of Christmas joy. Yep, she said she was going to do that. She came to the Skripal event. She's a big fan of the Novichok, and drove over from Bath or wherever she was coming from there. And so it was great to see her at the live event as well. Thank you, Hesher. Much appreciated. Boiler Room's happening this week for New Year's special edition.
Yeah, we've got a Boiler Room on Audible. It might happen tonight. We shall see. So keep an eye out on my ex at Hesher Media.
Okay, Boiler Room, ladies and gentlemen, alternatecurrentradio.com is a link on our show page. If you haven't clicked on it, please do. And support the content and the network at ACR. Ruckus, your final thoughts.
Thanks for having me, Patrick. It was a fun one. I had seen that German bit before a little while ago. I think it was late last night or earlier this morning, and it shocked me the first time, and it shocked me the second time because it's also shocking. But I do wish everyone the rest of the holiday that they have a good one, that the new year will be prosperous and good to all of you fine people out there, even to one Dr. Fauci. I wish him well as well, of course, and Zelensky, not Putin. Putin can go to HE double hockey sticks, of course. But don't forget to check me out over at Alternate Current Radio on the Boiler Room. I, of course, still do my appearances with Sam Cheney over at Weaponized News. I've switched that to Wednesday nights, so that's when you'll find me over there. So maybe that'll be the last time you see me this year on air. So make sure you tune in this week. That'll be Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. And I'll leave you guys with a quote from Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the country I reside in, the United States of America, soon to be a prison, hell on earth. But he is quoted as saying, "Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man or woman," of course. Thanks for having me, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Ruckus. And little Erica Kirk, a nod here. Look at that. Shabbat Shalom. Very good. Oh, my goodness. You guys are too much. Comment threads are too much. Basil Valentine, final parting words for the new year.
Friend of the channel, Phil Zimmerman, has asked us to give a push to his new album and accompanying video. Now, I've shared a couple of links on the back channel private chat, gentlemen, to something highly appropriate called the Wrinkly Rockers Club.
Okay.
.com. There's two links there. If somebody could copy and paste them into the general comments. I can't paste in the general comments because I'm not signed in.
Hesher or Ruckus might be able to do that. It's in our studio chat. The Wrinkly Rockers Club sounds very
I'm
mature.
trying to sign in now.
Let's just say.
Yeah. Phil's got an album coming out, and there's a video of one of the tracks. Oh, I'm now signed in, so there you go. I can post myself. There we go, paste. You could vote for his video. There you are. WrinklyRockersClub.com. Vote for video of the year. And Lines in the Sky, Phil's video is described as the Sex Pistols meet the Rolling Stones, neither of whom I'm a fan of. Now I'm getting a message that my comment has failed to post. Well, I wonder why.
Don't worry. Our colleagues will drop that in there for you.
Okay.
We'll play Phil's video on the outro, Lines in the Sky, which is a nod. Yeah, no, link, I don't have the link hand, but I'll play the video. If someone else could grab the link, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I've got the link.
Lines in the Sky. But
that's Phil has poured his heart and soul into this new album.
Indeed, yeah,
and spent a lot of money on the production as well.
Well, it's evident from the quality of that video, which is amazing. One of the best rock videos I've ever seen, quite frankly. It's a genius.
Okay, there it goes. I'm just dropping the link in the private chat.
Piece of high art there, definitely. I see that. There we are. Very good.
There we go. The YouTube one might be the easiest. So do go and vote. The website is www.rinkly, WRINKLY, rockersclub.com. And if you type in the search bar for video, you'll find the competition. And if you type in the search bar for Zimmerman, you'll find Phil's video as well. So good luck to Phil. I know it means a lot to him. Star of stage and screen, of course. Very funny guy. As for myself, I'll be back in the new year on Unprecedented TV with a new weekly show, Current Affairs with Basil Valentine. I've been compiling a list of guests that I want to have on. I'm going to do about an hour a week every Monday, and we'll take it from there. Simple as that.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. New year, new projects.
New project, and I hope to be a repeat contributor to UK Column as well.
Yep.
And indeed to Palestine Declassified if they'll invite me back. So we'll see. I'm planning on doing as much as I can next year.
No, this is going to be great. Everyone's looking forward to seeing you on those platforms as well, Basil. So that's something to look forward to. So, gentlemen, thank you very much once again, and we shall reconnect next week, and hopefully, hopefully. No new wars during the next week, but with Trump, you never know. He just bombed Nigeria this week. So we didn't even talk about that. Imagine bombing Nigeria. I give up. Honestly, I give up at that point. So, Nigerians are even like scratching their heads saying, what the hell is he doing?
This is like some school bully stuff. And then we got the whole like Somalian thing going on not in Michigan? I can't remember where, but the whole thing is just so clownish right now. The narrative's going.
The Somalians have come out and made a statement. They said that God promised them Minneapolis 3,000 years ago. So I mean,
that's right.
It's all fair game, isn't it? At that
point, that was brilliant.
You know?
Yeah, makes sense.
That was very clever.
It was a great discovery of the Somalian pioneers back in the day. They were
that's
in
right.
America.
They found some ancient tablets
long before Christopher Columbus. Long before.
That's right.
They could
you
even
were promised all the daycare money.
That's right. They used to be Mormon, so of course they were in North America when Jesus arrived. So in America, so there we are. That's how it goes, folks, in the eschatological lottery, spiritual casino, Basil. That's just how it goes.
Well, lots of people are predicting 2026 is going to be a year of complete and utter turmoil. It remains to be seen how that plays out, but psychics, various sort of insiders, whatever, sorted apparatchiks, gurus, seers and prophets are all saying that 2026 is going to be even more tumultuous than 2025 and the era of the COVID farrago, which everybody seems to want to forget as quickly as possible.
Yep. Anyway, look at the price of gold. That's all you need to know, folks. Going through.
That's right.
Ultimate indicator of chaos to come. Thank you, gentlemen. Much appreciated. Again, Hesher, Ruckus, Basil Valentine. Appreciate you guys, as do our audience. Appreciate you very much. That's it, folks. That's all we got time for. A big shout out to everybody in the comment threads. Really appreciate you guys. Amazing contributions once again. this week on the Sunday Wire, we will, on the outro, be playing Lines in the Sky by the great Phil Zimmerman. This is, to call this a hit is an understatement. It is an absolute force of nature in terms of a video. I've never seen anything like it. Nobody has. Look, before we break as well, you guys support our winter fundraising drive at 21stcenturywire.com. This is how we fund and plug the shortfall for 2026. We really need your help, and this is the time to do it. So again, those of you who have stepped up and your generosity has not gone unnoticed. And again, we recognize some of those people tonight as we did in the previous program. So over the holiday seasons, if you like the work that we're doing and you want to see not just survive in 2026, but thrive as well. We've been going since 2009, so we're not going anywhere. It's not a flash in the pan. This is the real deal. Sunday Wire, 21stcenturywire.com. We have a great team. We produce great content, and we're on the cutting edge of some of the most important stories day in, day out, week in, week out. We're here, and we'll be resuming as well the Midweek Wire next week. I think we have Arnaud Devalet lined up for a special edition. Again, auditing European politics. That's going to be a very, very important discussion coming, a good adjunct to what we covered tonight as well. So thank you again for everybody for all of your support and help. Hopefully we'll have more good news for you next on that front next week as well. So I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This has been episode 575 of the Sunday Wire. Thank you for your help, your support, for your listenership, for your viewership. We'll see you very soon. All the best. Here is, again, Lines in the Sky by Phil Zimmerman.
Lines in the sky, chemical shite, raining down on you and I. Don't you ever wonder why? There's lines in the sky, lines in the sky, chemical shite. It's a new world order, conspiracy and lies. Don't you ever wonder why? There's la 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 lies in the sky, chemical shite. I saw it on the internet, and now it's messing with my mind. Don't you ever wonder why? There's lines in the sky. They say we're all zombies, lobotomized sheep, addicted to apathy. I am a